Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning. Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar,
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
and thank you for joining us this morning.
Nice Tuesday morning.
That's right.
Saw lots of people exercising today, so it's really nice outside again. We're going to get our weather update right now.
Yep.
And we have our forecaster, Shania Young, on the line. Good morning. All right, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
All right, let's get into our weather. Can you tell us about our general situation?
So, ridging is expected to continue over the area, which will support mainly fair and dry weather over the next few days.
Okay, great. And our 24-hour forecast?
The 24-hour forecast is for sunny skies with a few clouded spells today and clear to partly clouded skies tonight. And showers will be isolated except for the chance of a few more over northern and some coastal areas this morning.
Okay. And our winds?
The winds will be from the east and southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and this will produce moderate seas.
Okay, let's talk temperatures. What are the high temperatures we can expect?
High temperatures today along the coast will be 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 90 inland, and 82 in the hills. And low temperatures tonight will be 78 degrees Fahrenheit along coastal areas, 68 inland, and 64 in the hills.
Okay, sounds nice. Let's talk about our outlook as we head into Wednesday.
So for Wednesday and Wednesday night, it's for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers expected.
Okay, so pretty consistent.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you so much for that update, Shania.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Yeah, so pretty good weather to continue.
Sunny with cloudy spells. Of course, there is that possibility of a shower.
I know, but it sounds like a good time to be outside.
All right, we're going to keep things moving with our eye opener for this morning. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. When we offer nothing but excuses in our lives, we are not being honest with anybody, mostly ourselves. Excuses may seem like rational reasons for us not to do something. But if we're not careful, we can allow them to keep us from reaching our goals. Too often, we accept our excuses as reasons why we cannot accomplish what we set out to do. And instead of finding alternatives, we give up. But if we can be honest with ourselves and take responsibility for our choices, we will begin to notice that we no longer give excuses. When we keep our minds focused on our goals, we will find that excuses fade away in the light of our priorities, and issues become challenges that can help us become wiser and stronger. We may think that excuses make things easier, but they complicate matters with smoke screens. When we can commit to our priorities, take responsibility for our choices, and communicate them honestly to others, there will be no need to make excuses, and we will have more energy to dedicate to all the things we love.
That's a great one. And I think that a lot of the times we make excuses or something because it's, it comes from a place of uncertainty or fear or anxiety. So a lot of the times we think about things that, or we imagine a lot, I think is the problem. So I think, when we commit to something or we're afraid of trying something new, then we start to think of all the reasons why, you shouldn't do it. Or maybe perhaps even you messed up and you don't 100% want to take responsibility. I mean, sometimes there's things that aren't your fault or things that are beyond your control. But for the most part, we're in control of a lot, and that applies to, whether we're taking on something new or even something that we've done in the past. But I think the thing with excuses is that if you use it as or something to prevent yourself from doing something, then that's where it's a problem.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the worrying is a natural part of it. That means that you care, right? So you should care and you should think about things that are important to you, and so you should try to make sure that everything goes smoothly. But you can't be in control 100% of the time. So it's better to at least try and give your best effort rather than giving an excuse or thinking that, okay, well, this might not work out for this reason, so I'm not going to do it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and I was thinking along those same lines. I think it's easy to start to look at where things can go wrong. It's easy to kind of do your own individual risk assessment and say, okay, well, these are the risks, so I'm not going to do it. I can't do it because of those risks. But it's really just being able to recognize where you may have weaknesses or deficiencies, but still moving forward.
Yeah.
For me, the bigger part of letting go of excuses is where you can take responsibility. I think it's one of those things that very often you find that a lot of people struggle with. We make mistakes. We're humans. We're not infallible. It's gonna happen. And ultimately, I think that the best thing that you can do in any of your interactions or relationships is being able to say, okay, not making excuses. It was my fault. I did it. I made a mistake. I was wrong. Bad choice. Whatever term you want to use, without the buts. Because you can say, yeah, I did it, but Gavin was the one who made me. So, and I think it's a huge part of taking responsibility. So, for me, I think that part stands out a lot. And just naturally, we make excuses for a lot of things. I mean, how many times have you said you want to go exercise and you look at the clouds and it's the weather's fault. It's too hot. It's too cold. There's always an excuse rather than just getting out and doing it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you're calling me out there.
No, I really think that's the one universal excuse we all make.
No, for sure. Because I definitely been there probably like yesterday. So, but yeah, it's true. And I think I really like something that you said earlier, and it's about honesty, I think. Because even when there's certain things that are beyond your control, you still have to recognize what the part that you play in it is, especially if it's something mental. So especially if you're creating something that may not be there, or you're thinking about all of these different 101 ways that things can go wrong when things are a possibility. That there's a possibility that you might end up in a hospital from a paper cut, but what are the chances really? So I think that you should always be honest, do a good assessment of what it is, whether it's something that you've done and you're reviewing in your mind, or whether it's something that you're scared of doing and you don't want to jump in for all of these different reasons. Just be honest and take whatever responsibility you can, and then you move forward from there. Whether it's a mistake you made, then accept it and move on. And if it's something that you're scared of, why not try? And then say, at least I tried.
Yeah.
So,
as you watch, one of the things that came to mind is how we learn that particular habit. And one of the things that, I think parenting has changed a lot. You read. I read a lot of different things about how parents need to be more open with their children and what they model.
Yeah.
And one of the things you always know is that parents very rarely take accountability. They have a lot of excuses. That's where we learn it from. We learn that mom or dad or granny says, you have to take responsibility, but then they don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also the, do as I say, not as I do type thing, where that confuses things all the time. Because then when they do the thing that they say that you're not supposed to do, then there's an excuse. Well, I can, if they even explain to you, because then but if there is an explanation, it's always well, because so and so I could do this, and like, no, that's an excuse.
That's right. But I think a great eye opener as you go about your day to day, and it can be from the littlest things. Your excuse to not eat right, your excuse to exercise, your excuse to carve out some extra time, whether it's for your loved one or for yourself. Don't give in to them.
I know, and guys, especially if you're in a relationship and you didn't do something, don't make an excuse. If you forgot the birthday or if you forgot.
Don't forget Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah,
no
exactly.
excuses that work for that one.
That's exactly where I was heading. We know something important is going on this weekend, so don't make that excuse.
Something.
We know that it's every day you should love everybody and all of that, but
something. You're so dismissed. There's something happening. It's interesting. I was thinking about that. I don't feel the Valentine buzz that we usually do.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of like Christmas where we didn't see as much decorations and stuff. Like usually we'd be seeing some hearts and some, lots of red.
Everywhere?
Yeah. Lots of ribbons and flowers and stuff. But, it's still there. It's still coming. So
yeah, that you can't use that as an excuse. COVID won't be a valid excuse to be extra nice to your loved one this weekend.
I'm surprised, as you say that, COVID, when we talk about excuses, that's been that's been a thing. Obviously there's a new reality and there's a new change and everything, but it doesn't mean that we can get away with everything and blame, oh, well, it's a pandemic, so I didn't do this.
Yep. All right, so that's the eye-opener for this morning. We got to get moving into our show, and as you may have known, or if you're just tuning in today, we started off our Meet the Mayoral candidate segments. This is a part of our preparation leading into municipal elections that's going to be held on March 3rd. So we're traveling all over the country, or technically, Zoom is helping us to bring them here. And we're meeting the mayoral hopefuls from the different municipalities. We've taken you north, and today we're heading out west. We're going to be featuring the mayoral candidates for San Ignacio and Santa Elena.
Yep, and after we hear from the candidates for the Twin Towns, we are going to be shifting gears and having a conversation with the National AIDS Commission, and they're going to be providing us an update on some of the work that they have been doing. So that's going to be our final conversation for this morning.
All right.
Yep. And with that, we are going to be taking a very short break. And when we come back, we are going to be joined by the current mayor of the Twin Towns. So please stay tuned.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
Keeping safe from COVID-19 at your workplace requires 100% teamwork. You can keep earning while keeping yourself and others safe by doing some basic things. Wear a face mask at all times in the workplace unless you are alone in your own private space or office. Wash your hands frequently or utilize alcohol-based hand sanitizers and avoid touching your face. Disinfect surfaces like doorknobs, tables, desks, and handrails regularly. Increase ventilation by opening windows or adjusting air conditioning. Limit visitors and deliveries to the workplace and use appointments where possible. Attend meetings virtually as much as possible, and when not possible, hold meetings in open, well-ventilated spaces or rooms that allow for everyone to be 6 feet apart. Stay at home if you or a family member at home are feeling sick, or if you have been in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Keeping the workplace safe also requires that employees act responsibly when away from work. Practice social distancing and good hand washing hygiene. Avoid large gatherings and avoid unnecessary exposure to others. Protecting others means protecting yourself. Together, we can defeat COVID.
In partnership with the British High Commission.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety. and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
And we're back, and we are just getting our first conversation for this morning started. Of course, we're bringing you our Meet the Mayoral Candidates segment, and today we are heading to the West. So joining us right now for our first conversation, we have the incumbent mayor of the Twin Towns, San Ignacio and Santa Elena. We have Earl Trapp, who is also the United Democratic Party's candidate for the upcoming municipal election as well. Good morning, Mayor Trapp.
Good morning, Mr. Gavin, and good morning, Ms. Marlene. Good morning, Belize.
Yeah, thanks.
Especially residents of San Ignacio and Santa Elena.
Thank you so much for
joining us. It's a pleasure to be on your show this morning.
Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure to have you. Now, we are only a few weeks away from the election, and you are, of course, the incumbent candidate. So, just very briefly, we can start by talking, how are you feeling knowing that the election is so close and that you are trying to hold on to another term?
At this time, as what I would always say, I feel very good about myself and my team. And the reason why I'm saying this is because of the fact that since we assumed office in March of 2018 for this team, we began working. And today, if you walk around San Ignacio and Santa Elena, you drive around San Ignacio and Santa Elena, you can see the results of hard work and dedication. So that in itself will speak on the 3rd of March. That's basically what the people have been saying. I mean, no, while we have done a lot of work, there's still many work to get done. But as per normal, we will never get to 100%. But certainly, I'm feeling, myself and my team, we're feeling very good of ourselves, especially as we walk the trail. We're basing our the feeling based on the responses that we have been receiving so far.
Yeah. How have you been campaigning? We know COVID has changed things significantly for the typical campaign season.
Well, certainly we need to take the COVID protocols seriously into consideration. We are out in person, in small groups, talking from a distance. And certainly we are using our social media, we're using the different media houses. We've been using our phones, but definitely it's different from those other years when we were able to campaign freely without having to worry about this virus. But we are definitely trying our best to keep our distance, even though at times the people get excited and just run up upon you, you cannot just push them off, but we just have to be careful. We're out there with our sanitizers, we're out there with our alcohol, and whatever we can, we do to keep each other safe.
Yeah. And, earlier you were talking about a little bit of the work that you've done since you were first elected in 2018. Of course, as the incumbent candidate, people will be looking at things that you've done as sort of your report card and in scoring you how you fare in the upcoming chances. So if you could look back since 2018 to now, what are some of the projects that perhaps you're most proud of or that you've considered some of your best or your team's best accomplishments?
Yes, well, I will go back to 2015, sir. Because one of the biggest achievements for this municipality since under my tenureship has been the construction of this new town hall. And believe me, it wasn't an easy one. One where, because we were in the old town hall and it was in a dilapidating condition. And I was forced basically to move from out there because it got to a point where some of our staff members began gathering in little groups and planning to, just stay out because they weren't feeling safe in the building. A big vehicle might pass or a truck might pass around the corner and the house the building would literally shake. Big crevices on the walls. So we had to move, and we had to move to an area that we had to rent for $7,000 a month. But as a concerned leader, I don't want our municipality taxpayers' money to be going into rental for the rest of our lives and still not owning anything. So we had to brainstorm, and we thought that, we need to have our own. And we did the different logistics. We began with the selling of the property there, and we gave that to the contractor, and the proceeds from that is how we began this building. And later on, we had to get the cabinet to amend the Town Council Act to give the different municipalities the autonomy to make such a loan. And that's where we are today. And I can tell you that we are basically in this building, and whatever we were paying to the rent is going towards the repayments. And again, we are getting like $10,000 per month for rental from this building. So in reality, if we are like operating as if though we were renting there, but at the end of the day, after we are through with the loan payments, this building belongs to the council, and the rental that will be coming in, that will be more like revenues that we can use to work something like within the towns. We can work on the streets, drains, or whatever project that my successors would look as more important or priority. But definitely we have turned what were termed to be more a capital into a revenue generating project. This is one of the main. If you notice, we have really uplifted enhanced our municipalities, both San Ignacio and Santa Elena. We have worked along the Macal Park. We have cemented several streets, several drains. We have built a nice chapel in Santa Elena, especially in times like these that we are going through COVID-19 where we cannot cluster. People can use the chapel to have service for their loved ones before they are laid to rest in an open area that is more safe. We have built several drains, especially in low-lying areas that would get inundated after a torrential rain. Those are very much key projects. We are working currently on a synthetic football turf that is opposite the town hall at the moment, but we put a slight little halt on that because of the fact that even if we get it done, we cannot play football because it's a contact sport. We have assisted the outer communities in building streets, areas that were subdivided and were never had the proper infrastructure. It then became the responsibility of the council, and that in itself have really been taking up a lot of time. But we certainly have come a long way in trying to get our infrastructure in place. We are considered the #1 inland tourism destination, and we will continue to work on different destinations that we will later roll out as a twin city tour, something that will help us to stimulate the local economy here in San Ignacio and Santa Elena. But we have come a long way, and the residents, in my humble opinion, based on their interaction with us, are very much grateful of the developments thus far.
I wanted, you mentioned the fact that you're one of the top destinations in the country, and in your engagement with the citizens or the residents of both towns, I'd imagine they're having a really tough time, since we know it's a struggle to kind of get tourism going once again. You had the devastation of the floods just at the end and the beginning of the year. So talk to us about some of the concerns that you're hearing from them.
One of the major concerns at this moment is the fact that, and please, I hope I'm not getting political here. One of the main concern is that before November 11th elections last year, many of these people were getting pantry. And right after elections, everything changed. So at least they were depending on this. This have been helping them all along. Now they are back to almost square one. Other concerns are unemployment. Other concerns are basically drainage in some low-lying areas, especially in the outskirts of San Ignacio and Santa Elena. The concerns are drains and some streets. And like I said, we have done a lot in terms of drains and streets, but with only a short period of having to work entire towns of San Ignacio and Santa Elena, it's growing exponentially. And with just that small amount of subvention that we get, no support from central government in terms of finances for projects, we have to honestly think out of the box and in trying to get more done. So those are some of the basic concerns, though. Mainly, like I said, the food pantry that they were once getting, the unemployment, and of course, Warsaw. Since then, many people that we met on the trails so far have been complaining of losing their jobs since elections in November of last year.
And what kind of commitments can you make to people with those specific circumstances? Wouldn't it then count against you in the campaign? Because people will be thinking, if I vote in Mayor Trapp, maybe things won't get moving in this area.
Ms. Marlene, I will be honest with you. And I would want for us to refer back to Orange Rocktown Council. Orange Rocktown Council have been operating for the past 3 terms under a United Democratic Party government. That's a PUP town council. And if you noticed, and we are fair and honest with ourselves, we will say that yes, the then Mayor Bernard really went the extra mile. He thought out of the box. He made some hard decisions in being where they are today. And I can tell you, while I view them as a progressive municipality, I view San Ignacio and Santa Elena Town Council as a more progressive municipality. And I will tell you what, since we assumed office in 2015, we never relied on central government. We began looking towards our social and institutional partners for financing, for grant funding and projects. And up to today, because of the different proposals that we have been writing, until today, because it's a lengthy process, some of them, we are receiving responses. And I can tell you that we are receiving a new trash truck from Taiwan in June of this year. We are currently working on proposals through the 5Cs organization that is about completion. And I can tell you that this one, I can tell you, will definitely assist us to help our residents here in San Ignacio and St. Helena, something that will create hundreds of jobs. You know, it's a project that is geared towards climate change and flood mitigation. So we are looking forward to this. And this is basically about 10 million US dollar grant funding through the 5Cs organization. Yeah. And this is about nearing completion. And again, I believe that in March, we are expecting some sort of disbursement. This goes to show how long ago we've been working on these proposals, because we have been seeing the light around the curve.
So
we have been seeing, yeah. Yes.
Sorry, no, I was just going to clarify. So your plan is being able to access grant funding and working with international donors to try to keep the work going in San Ignacio and Santa Elena.
That is correct.
Yeah. Now,
and I can
go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, you go ahead, Ms. Marlene.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask the question because when you talk about things like flood mitigation projects, there are risks associated with the area that these towns are situated. And so some of it you won't always be able to mitigate. But what have been your plans in being able to alleviate the financial and personal loss that people experience when we do have excessive rains that causes floods?
Indeed, we won't be able to mitigate everything.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I've been telling people that had a concern. For example, if you look at the market area, people were concerned when we began constructing the market along the riverbank. Flood will come and flood will take away the market. But we cannot think in that manner. Yeah. We have to be more optimistic about things, you know, and when certain things happen, then we think about how we will cross that bridge, you know? So in other areas, I can tell you that whatever we have done so far in flood mitigation, the areas that were prone to flooding, in the last rains and storms that we had, those areas weren't flooding out. And that was as a result of us working ahead of time, cleaning the main channel behind that neighborhood. And of course, we had constructed some nice, wide and deep concrete drains. So all this had really worked in the area, and it's just a certain area. It's a comprehensive drainage project that needs to start from the point where it affects most of the people and going all the way up to where the water starts. But it's a comprehensive drainage project, and I can tell you that so far it's been working, but we still have the downtown San Ignacio that gets inundated after an hour or two of torrential rains. And those are the areas that we need to target. We have the main drains that empties out into a river. We want to divert those drains into and create a wetland that will filter the water before it seeps into the river. So those are some of the main projects that is geared towards the climate change, flood mitigation, and of course 5Cs organization goes for such projects.
And how do you prioritize what you want to do if you're reelected?
What's that?
How do you prioritize what you want to do if you're reelected?
Okay. One of what we prioritize, first of all, I must say that whatever we put to the table is as a result of us talking to the people and feeling them out as to what are the main concerns. And so we need to go into consultation. Consultation is key and very important for us to include residents in making such decisions. But we have the priority right now is job creation. The priority is to put food on the table. And we have a national bus terminal. Again, like I said, it's so many projects that we have in the pipeline for this community. It's a national bus terminal that we want to construct here in San Ignacio and Santa Elena. We have begun the process, and we basically have IDB Invest working along with us. They are financing the first step that is ongoing as we speak, because what we want to do is to finance this through a 3Ps initiative, public-private partnership initiative. And this will create a lot of jobs. This will move the congestion from within the downtown San Ignacio a little out. We want to do the second phase of our market, which is a 2-story. We have been advertising it again for a year or so, and we continue to seek financing for that. If needs be, then we might have to go into a 3Ps initiative as well. Another initiative I think that we need to focus on is basically empowering single-parent mothers. And we have a property right below here by the town council. And again, we want to build a structure which is very inexpensive. It's not, I mean, we use our human resources to do those stuff, so it becomes much cheaper. And we want to use that to basically assist single-parent mothers to learn a trade. And then we can use the same facility, if it's seasonal, to maybe learn a trade, woodwork. But there are many things that the people have been asking, and I believe that those are very much viable projects that are very much and easily reachable or attainable.
Now, your slogan is looking at continuing the progress that you feel like you've set with your first term. Let's talk about some of the qualities that you bring to the table, especially in a time like this, and the team members that you have, the rest of your slate.
All right, I will start with my team. Basically, we have I would say two members in my state right now that have been there since the last term. We have Mr. Mark O'Brien, we have Ms. Bernadette Fernandez. These two people have been very much involved in our community. Mr. O'Brien have been involved with the school, with education, and he have been assisting many students, tutoring them. Mrs. Fernandez have been working with the elderlies. She has been advocating for them. And we have been doing fundraisers to assist in areas that she believes is necessary for to meet the needs of some of the people, because we cannot do all. Then we have Miss Eliana Moreno. She was once a counselor again. And she worked with Niche, and she is involved very much in arts, you know, and she can definitely assist our single parents there. We have Mr. Abdel Kawo, who is presently a member of the Child Advisory Board, and he has been working very closely with with helping us to promote San Ignacio and Santa Elena as a child-friendly municipality. We have Mr. Lynn Valentine, that has been very much involved with sports, very charismatic, assisting people in the community. And then we have the other youth, Mr. Figueroa, who again is involved with sports, and I think he has a lot in bringing to the table in terms of accounting, and he can assist us in trying to better up our accounting here at the town hall.
And for you personally, Mayor Trapp, why do you think that people will have confidence in you to lead them through another term?
The people will have confidence in me as their next leader because of my track record. My track record of hard work, dedication, and my track record of delivering. Job creation that I have been doing, we have been doing a lot of rotational work in trying to reach out to the many people that are in need. And people are very much into the ideas that we are selling them, especially ideas that are basically in line with stimulating the local economy. You know, in times like these, we need to reach out to our people. This time we have done a lot of infrastructure, but this time we want to touch the people's lives personally. And I can tell you, because things have been so hard, people have been coming to us, we decided to use a big chunk of our revenues, and we have been providing grocery bags to the more needy people. And this will continue for the next 6 months. And if the pandemic continues in the same manner, then we will extend it to the end of the year, which means that the infrastructure works it will not be halted, but we will slow down on that, because we believe that we need to put the people first. We need to touch their lives personally, especially when we are going through this. All of us are suffering, so we will touch their lives personally this time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Mayor Trapp, we are just about almost out of time. So before we close off this conversation, we'd like to give you a chance to speak directly to your residents and your voters, and you can leave them with any final message that you would want, and you can let them know why it is they should vote for you and your team.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir. Once again, I would like to greet our residents here in San Ignacio and Santa Elena. And I'm humbly coming to you once more, along with my team, seeking your humble support. And I want to basically emphasize that we are not running on a manifesto promises. We are running on a track record, like I said earlier, of hard work and dedication. The whole saying would say, the proof is in the pudding. If you walk around San Ignacio and Santa Elena, you will see numerous developments. And I am very much like the many residents of San Ignacio and Santa Elena, very proud to call myself a resident of San Ignacio and Santa Elena. San Ignacio and Santa Elena have come a long way. It's not by luck, like I said, or by chance, but it's by hard work and dedication. It's by bringing our residents, by bringing the business community together. It's by building relationship with the people. And this, I believe, is what will take us through the hump, so that we can continue the good works, so we can continue to be proud of our municipality, so we can continue to be the shining beacon on top of the hill. With that said, I would like to once again thank the residents of San Ignacio and Santa Elena for their support in advance. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank my staff here at the office, and especially on the field, those workers that are out there on a daily basis, giving their all for their residents, giving their all to develop our community. Without them, we wouldn't be able to be where we are. And that's the reason why I always say the most important resource in any organization, in any company, or any institution, the most important resource are our human resource. So a big up to all of our staff here in the office and in the field. And once again, to all our residents and business people that have been a part of this development thus far. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ms. Marlene.
And thank
Anything
you.
else? We're here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us this morning. We want to ensure that all our viewers in the Cayo area had an opportunity to meet the mayoral candidates, so we appreciate you being here. Of course, please stay safe on the campaign trail.
We certainly will. And I thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you, Belize. God bless everyone.
And with that, that concludes the first half of our Meet Our Mayoral Candidates. This is, of course, specifically looking at the mayoral candidates in San Ignacio, Santa Elena. So we'll take the break. When we come back, we'll be joined by the PUP representative. So please stay tuned.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite VoIP calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment are new, PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBS. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. Put that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
And we're back. And we are just getting our second conversation for this morning started. Of course, we are continuing our Meet the Mayoral Candidates segment. And now we are going to hear from the People's United Party's candidate for mayor of the Twin Towns of San Ignacio and Santa Elena. So we have joining us Ramon Quiros all the way from Cayo. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, residents of San Ignacio and Santa Elena. Good morning, Marlene. Always a pleasure to see you. Okay. Good morning, young man. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
Thank you for coming. We are pleased to have you here. Now, of course, since you've been starting your campaign, the residents of the Twin Towns would be very familiar with you, but of course this is a national show. So for those who may not know you, why don't we start by talking a little bit about who you are and how you grew up, and give some of our viewers an idea of who Ramon Quiros is.
Well, I believe I'm no stranger to local politics. This is my third attempt at this. But as a young man, young, resilient young man of San Ignacio and Santa Elena, I'm currently a corporate sales executive for a company headquartered in Guatemala. So I can say that for the past 15 years, I'm at that. I'm also a professional photographer, which I was part of the inception with one of the shows for Great Belize Television. And again, no, I've been at this for a while, very dedicated, hardworking, listening to the plea of the people, and they have chosen me and nominated me to be their mayoral candidate for this upcoming elections in March.
What's the drive that you have beyond, what is the drive that you have for wanting to be the mayor of the Twin Towns?
Well, I believe it's community involvement. I used to complain about things I didn't appreciate and seeing in this town and in the Twin Towns. And I can say I got tired of complaining. I know I got involved. The people keeps coming back to me and you know, resonating with me. And I could say I've been listening. Public consultation is more important than trying to do things that will not impact the broader base. San Ignacio has grown so much. We have a lot of subdivisions for the past years, and these people have been neglected. And I've never left them. I've always been dedicated, listening to their plea, and I've been trying to help them in different ways. But today I can say the opportunity for me to be here is great. We're dedicated. We have a superb team with us. We have young people. We have mature people. So with a lot of us having specific roles to play in this campaign, and you know, March 3rd will speak for itself.
Yeah.
And you spoke earlier of neglect and some of the so what are some of the things that you would like to change, or what are some of your main objectives that you and your team would like to accomplish if it is that you're successful on the election day?
Well, first of all, we need to know that we're in a pandemic, and we know that if we listen carefully to the concerns of residents of our Twin Towns, we will know that basic infrastructure should always be there. But today, our people are asking for consultation, for proper management of the public assets. You know, if you don't go to the people, you will never know what are their concerns. And we've been doing that to the fact that we have created formidable plans with certain things that we know that we will have them firsthand. We will make sure we do what is necessary first. We won't be doing projects that we know can't complete, or we won't be able to complete because of circumstances such as these. So we will make sure we prioritize on the event, on the things we want to do come March.
Yeah. Now, Ramon, let's talk about some of the things you've been hearing on the campaign. You said before you even offered yourself for politics, you were one of the persons who would pay attention to what's happening, have complaints. Now you are receiving these complaints with the expectation that if people vote for you, that you'll be able to do something about it. So let me hear your insight there.
Well, I can say this. I can say that having participated for the past, from 1997 with the People's United Party, we have accomplished a lot. When we were out of office, we saw many things change. And today, now that we have the help and the support of central government, after we won that decisive victory in November, we are seeing that people now are trusting, putting their trust on us. And we want them to know that we won't let them down. I can say that the current three-era representatives are dedicated to what they know best, serve the people. San Ignacio today can say that it's been a long time you haven't had three-era representatives of the same ruling party. Today we have that. We were a part of that decision. Now let us join this group and join this formidable team to victory in March. And then you will start seeing new technological ways of making San Ignacio and Santa Elena better. We want a safer municipality. People are complaining that they're not safe in their homes. The responsibility of the town council is not just to fix drains or to clean the cemeteries. We're beyond that. We want to bring back San Ignacio to that capital of investment that once San Ignacio and Santa Elena was. You know, everybody in the weekends, everybody spoke about, let's go to Cayo, let's go to San Ignacio and Santa Elena. Let's bring that back. Let's put the trust there. We have engaged with the young people. If you see some of the pictures, we're not in government. We're not in the local government, and we're already assisting with some of the equipment and help that the young individuals want to do to clean, because they have to take the initiative to clean their environment because they don't have the support from the local government. The local government is busy working on high taxations. They're busy on working of, well, look at the taxi associations again. I brought them together. My team and I brought them together last week. We have about 400 taxi operators here. And the current mayor has not even had a chance to listen to their plea and find ways of helping all of them to come to a solution, to create better parking space downtown, to have a fair option of working. You know, they're paying now, he has raised taxes on them. Now taxi men has to pay trade license apart from licensing their vehicle, licensing their car. So friends, I can tell you, we need to start showing that support, but the only way we do that is doing public consultation. And then we will make sure that the needs of the people are taken care of.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think definitely people love hearing about public consultation, but very often when a leader is elected, they will have to make decisions to be able to, I mean, you're put there because you are the representative of the people. You spoke of increased taxes or trade license fees. These are part of the revenue sources for municipal bodies. It's a very difficult financial time, and I know that the reliance on central government is not one that is a very sustainable thought to have. So what are your thoughts on being able to ensure that the town council would be financially stable?
Well, what we need to do is attract more businesses. We need to diversify. Presently, we don't even have a local business bureau. We have spoken to a lot of the business community, members of the business community, and in the first 100 days of being elected, there will be a local business bureau. That's where it starts. You cannot just go and impose certain things because you need to generate income, yet there's so much ways of doing it without burdening your people. If you think outside of the box, then you will start finding opportunities. One of the good things with us is that we have people from different walks of life in our team, and they're the ones that are gonna help me, because this is not about micromanaging. This is not about only the mayor trap. This is about working with the entire team and the party and the community. That's the only way you will be successful at this. 18 years, this gentleman has been there 18 years, 12 years as a councillor and 6 years as a mayor. And I can, from what he spoke about, he didn't say about coming to working on the manifesto. It's about not promises. My friends, today is a different time in San Ignacio and Santa Elena. The youth will decide this election. We have about over 5,000 youths that are going to participate on the election process in March. And majority of them are unemployed. Majority of them don't even have a opportunity of owning a house lot. They don't even have an opportunity of owning a home, much less a home. So I can tell you, for the past 13 years of a government that we had has slowed us down. You know, we're a resilient people, and we know that we have the capability of doing it. But if we have leaders in place that have a different agenda, then it will slow us down.
And perhaps you can elaborate a little bit more, talk about some of your plans or vision to work with the central government, given that, of course, the People's United Party is in government now, and you are their candidate. So if you were successful on election day, can you talk about some of your plans that you hope to enact?
Well, one of the things I've been hearing, actually what got me involved over 13 years ago, I live in an area of San Ignacio that people would refer to as Barrio Pobre. Why? Because it was on the outskirts back then. But we have a lot of alleyways like Belize City. A young man had murdered a young man in that area, and that's when I got involved. And I can tell you that from then my plea is on public safety, on security. Today we are chartering a plan to develop a secured system for the entire Twin Towns that will eventually be unfolded countrywide if it's successful here. And I can attest to the studies and the market studies that we've done is that we will now move to a different level. We will start working at areas of interest, such as bringing back businesses, because we will not be concentrating of being scared anymore to open a business or to open later after hours, because we will have a safer town with the support of central government. We know that this area will see much development when it comes to town expansions. We will see much opportunities with young people, new employment. We need to find adequate employment that will make a difference. If you look at the southern part of Belize, you have a lot of banana farms, and on each box of banana, what's the value? But if we can find ways of offering service to not only foreigners, but to our local residents all over the country, we will start opening more hotels, more restaurants that won't depend only on foreigners. Opportunities such as youth engagement for entrepreneurial skills, bringing them to the council, offering them advice, how to open a business, what to do, the do's and what to do and what not to do. You know, those are things that are necessary. When you look at the health issue, we have presently the current Minister of Health in this representing the San Ignacio area. And I can tell you the support he's willing to give us. The NHI system must be enrolled. And those are things that the people are clamoring. You know, back then, people couldn't even go to the hospital. The condition to get to the hospital is another problem. But come March 3rd, we will be elected. I strongly feel like we will be elected. And after that, we will start working on the plans that we have put together for the residents.
So tell us a bit about the platform for your campaign. What are you, you're going out and you're doing your house-to-house visits, you're taking your team along with you. What are you committing to the residents of San Ignacio and Santa Elena?
Well, our platform has been equal representation. The residents of Santa Elena has always clamored for equal representation. And we plan to do that. After we get elected, we plan to have a full-time office in Santa Elena. We plan to have a deputy mayor there with a town administrator, with a full staff, so that we can make San Ignacio and Santa Elena grow together. If we don't do that, then we're doing the same thing that these past candidates have been doing. So, like I said, our platform is equal representation, roles and responsibilities. We plan to have portfolios for each councillor, so that our counselor may be engaged with the people and also be held accountable for what he's doing according to the Town Councils Act. Yeah. So I can say it's been a good feeling going on the campaign trail and listening to the concerns of them and people seeing hope. People are seeing the light on the end of the tunnel, not on the light on the end of the curve, but at the end of the tunnel, because we have come here. This drought has been long enough, 18 years of the present Town Council. And I believe it has come to an end for them and the beginning of a new.
And talk a little bit about your slate and the team that you have together and why people should vote for the team as a whole.
Well, my slate, if you notice, we have individuals that are community driven. We have a representation, equal representation of both sides. We were elected this way and at a convention. I can start with Mr. Zaire Figueroa, an educated young man, accomplished, and he's a young entrepreneur, but he's good at what he's doing. He's a sport avid young man. He's very into sports, has represented us in the cycling federation. We have Mr. Aaron Mai, who is a pastor, a youth pastor, and also an instructor at the Cayo Set. He is very dedicated to what he does. I made a little note of him and I said, he's creative, he's organized, he's a spiritual and versatile young man. We also, on the slate, we have Mr. Matthew Preston. He's a hotelier, and also he's work at engineered projects. And this young man brings a lot to the table. We bring youth, we bring maturity, we bring, we bring security. We have a former police officer of 10 years. We have a teacher, a preschool teacher, Ms. Shirley Neal, a young lady from Santa Elena, very proud young lady from Santa Elena to work with us. We also have a team that can encompass a vision that can work along with the central government, and we're willing to do that for the residents of San Ignacio. We don't believe in micromanagement. We don't believe in it, and the next 3 years after this will be a form of we will attest to that we will be inclusive.
So Monty, tell us, if you were to fast forward 3 years from now, and you were the serving mayor of San Ignacio Santa Elena, what would be the biggest difference that residents would be able to see in the municipalities?
Well, I can say this. When local government and central government comes together, they create a plan that can work for everyone. My friends, the sky is the limit. We know that their interest is at heart. We are willing to put all our time. We're willing to work at this we want to be very dedicated at what we do. I can say, Marlene, that in 3 years' time, the same people that will get us to office will judge us on it. We have a plan also of creating one of the cleanest municipalities in the country, and we want to do that by creating a 24-hour garbage collection. This town has a population of 13,000 voters. The town is enormous, and if we don't move with the times, we're gonna start seeing what is happening now. We're gonna continue seeing that. I could say, man, I'm ready for the challenge, and my team is as well, and we're ready to work with the 3-year representatives and the community at large. We're ready.
Are there differences in the needs for residents of Santa Elena versus San Ignacio?
Well, residents of Santa Elena always wanted their fair share for the fact that majority of the businesses were dedicated only to San Ignacio, and also road expansions, schools, different things. Now in Santa Elena, people want to mention. People want to be mentioned. People want to be included. There's not a market in Santa Elena. There's not a police station in Santa Elena. There's not. Well, the health system there is not really functional. So people want certain services, when people go to pay their taxes at the council, they want to see it directly injected in their surroundings. And the residents of Santa Elena are not seeing that presently. So we need to go to the drawing table, and we need to go to the drawing table and make sure that every aspect of the Twin Towns is being taken care of. We want to build some research centers for the underprivileged kids in Santa Elena and San Ignacio, so that they can have adequate internet, computer, printers. Because if you notice, this COVID-19 has taught us one thing. Teachers can give you projects and give you a package to go home and get it done. But if you don't have the resources to get it done in your home, or don't have the internet, then you won't be able to even accomplish what you need to do for the schoolwork. And I can say is, if we get to do that, we will start seeing more kids being more dedicated to school, becoming better children for the society, and that's how a society grows, you know. I wanted to add that Mr. Alberto Palma is Santa Elena born. He's one of our candidates, one of the more mature candidates with us. He's a successful businessman. He has been one of the pioneers in the neighborhood watch programs. He was also the president of the special constables in that area, and he brings a lot to the table. He is one of the persons that is spearheading the security portfolio, along with Mr. Rodriguez, that was a past or a former police officer. Okay. And we know we're in good hands. That's what I want the residents of San Ignacio and Santa Elena to know, that trusting us in the 3rd of March, they're going to be in good hands.
Well, this is the last few minutes of the interview, and of course, we give all the candidates the opportunity to speak directly to your residents who are tuned in, and let them know why you feel you are the best candidate to represent them starting March 3rd.
Well, first of all, I want to tell the residents, thank you for welcoming us to their homes. We want to assure them that the drought has come to an end. We have brought together a team of formidable, competent, mature, dedicated, honest men and women who has the best interest, the people's interests at heart. Let us now come together. Let us come together and build back that city on the hill, like our forefathers envisioned. Let us do that. Let us be proud again. Let's hear the best come from the West, no? And I could say we're happy. We're happy on this journey, and looking forward for the elections in March. We want to thank you very much for your time, for listening, for being in tune, and we want to thank you very much.
All right, and we thank you too for participating in our Meet the Mayoral candidate. Of course, we've been telling all the candidates to please be safe on the campaign trail. We are on a pandemic. So, of course, you and your team take care out there, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and you guys be safe as well. Thank you very much.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're shifting gears. We're going to be talking to a representative of the National AIDS Commission and talk about the HIV response that they've been rolling out in the pandemic time. So stay tuned. That's coming up in a few.
Phil is at the grocery store to pick up some items. Phil realized that he left his wallet at home. Except now, he doesn't have to worry about whether or not he has physical cash on him. All Phil has to do is use his Belize Bank e-wallet to conduct payment with ease when he arrives at the checkout counter. What is Phil about to do? Phil is about to shop cashless. Introducing eCash, powered by Belize Bank. eCash is an e-wallet, or otherwise known as a digital or mobile wallet, that provides the user ease and convenience of making digital payments. With Belize Bank's revolutionary product, you may wonder, where did this all come from? Digital payment can be traced back to 1997, when Coca-Cola launched a few vending machines in Helsinki that let customers purchase a can of soda via text message. Though very different from the modern-day e-wallet transactions, This is believed to be the origin of the idea. Since then, multiple companies have incorporated the concept of digital payment, thus making e-wallets today's most popular payment method. Belize Bank, a leader in innovative financial services, is getting ready to offer a digital wallet solution, eCash. Studies show that e-wallet offered by banks are most dependable and secure. If you've ever lost your physical wallet or were robbed, you know how awful the initial moment of panic feels. Well, no more. eCash is strongly protected, and your money will be safer than ever. At Belize Bank, you can rely on eCash transactions to be fast and easy to process. You can count on superior service. The digital payment revolution is here, and it's time to jump on board and welcome the awesome perks that eCash has to offer for everyone. eCash, powered by Belize Bank. Love is a connection that should last forever. This February, NextGen is sharing the love with amazing promo deals for everyone. Reconnect or install with NextGen for free. Sign up for our affordable cable and high-speed internet plans and get 1 month free on your acquired service. But that's not all. New and reconnecting customers can now receive 1 month free MyTV subscription when you sign up with us anytime in February. Some restrictions apply. For more information on our promotions and services, contact us at 0800-222-5388 or via our social media platforms. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Are you traveling? Effective January 26, all passengers traveling internationally will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel to the United States, and show your negative result to the airline before you board your flight. Here at Caring Hands Clinic in San Pedro, we administer the antigen test, frequently referred to as a rapid test. Our products are CDC compliant and FDA approved. Testing has never been this easy. With our highly certified and licensed medical staff, we provide you with an accurate test result in minutes, making your experience fast, safe, and easy. To book your appointments today, contact us on any of our hotlines at 671-TEST or 672-TEST, 226-FAST, or our Vonage line at 305-420-6203. Book your appointments online at www.belizecovidtest.com. Caring Hands Clinic Antigen Test Center. We're pleased to serve you.
Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
And we're back, and we're moving into our final conversation for today, where we are getting the conversation going about HIV response in the time of the pandemic. We're joined by the Executive Director of the National AIDS Commission, Enrique Romero. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Marlene. Good morning, Gavin, and good morning to our listeners and viewers across the country. No? Good morning.
Right. So, COVID-19, of course, has affected, all sectors of society in all sorts of different ways, and of course, it has affected the response to HIV in the country. So, let's start by talking about where we are today, currently in our response and the allocation of resources for fighting the HIV and AIDS in the country and the work of the Commission.
Okay, thanks again, Gavin. And it's always a pleasure and grateful for the opportunity to share with the general population the statistics and the status of the HIV response in Belize. No? Yeah. Latest figures for 2019 have that there's an estimated 4,900 persons living with HIV and AIDS in the country. When we look at our work and the work of the national response, we compare it to, we look at it we represent it in 3 pillars. The first pillar being persons diagnosed, the second pillar being persons on treatment, and the third pillar being persons with viral load suppression. And that is in alignment with UNAIDS 1990 goals by 2020 and 95 goals by 2030. So when it comes to Belize, when you look at the first pillar, we have an estimated 4,900 persons living with HIV and AIDS. Of that amount, we can safely say that there's about 60% of those persons have been diagnosed and know their status, which is not where we want to be, because like I said, by 2020, we should have been at 90% and we're barely at 60%, which means that we have a big gap of persons who it is estimated are living with HIV and AIDS and who do not know their status. And that's not good, because then there's the high potential and risk of transmission and not knowing. When we look at the...
Let me get in there, because that's one of the questions that I had. You know, there's an active campaign that is ongoing throughout the year to tell people to get tested for HIV. I'd imagine that since the start of the pandemic, you missed some of the big days where you used to have public testing. Where are we with the current testing status for the population in the country?
Marlene, you bring up an excellent question that has been, you know, we have been battling with in terms of trying to find the answer. When you look at studies such as the mixed study and behavioral study that have been done recently in the past, when it comes to knowledge of HIV and AIDS, you have 96% of the population having heard about HIV and AIDS. You have a high percentage of those persons knowing how HIV is transmitted, knowing how HIV is prevented. The problem we're grappling with is transferring or translating that knowledge into behavior change. You look at, when you look at the statistics, you look at the young people having, reporting 7, 8 multiple sex partners, engaging in sexual risky behaviors, not using condom correctly and concisely. So that is one of the biggest issues that we are really grappling with in terms of translating that knowledge and that communication into behavior change. Because like you said, we have had from the past, 10 years campaigns. For example, in 1 year we had a campaign called the Bring a Man campaign, whereby we teamed up with the business community and we provided some tokens to persons that, for men who came to get tested and for persons who brought the most men at a time to get tested. And even overall, when you look at the overall figures from the Ministry of Health, you have 40,000 HIV tests done yearly. More women are tested than men, but when you look at the final figures, it's more men being infected, testing positive than women. So that's an area that we are grappling with in terms of trying to find innovative ways to reach the hard-to-reach populations. Because again, our data is showing us that 2 of every 3 new infections occur in men who have sex with men. So that's a population that is hard to reach, and that's a population that in many cases we refer to it as invisible or hard to reach. So that's one of the new things that we are trying to, the changes that we're trying to make in the national response. No?
When you look at the target of reducing transmission, do you prioritize having people know their status, or do you prioritize changing the behaviors of people? I mean, HIV by nature, because of how it's transmitted, it's private moments between people and a decision that's made in that moment to figure out what the risks are in contracting the virus. So where do you put your priorities? Do you want people to just know their status so that they're careful when making these decisions, or you want people to be preventative across the board in contracting the virus?
Well, behavior change, as you know, changes in behavior will not happen in the immediate or the short term or the medium term basis. That's a long term basis. That would be our outcome. So in the immediate, something that we have control over is ensuring that people get tested and know their status. So and as I mentioned earlier, that is the first pillar of the entire treatment cascade. So once we work in ensuring that people get tested, know their status, and then we link them to care in terms of reaching our second pillar, which is adherence, linking them to care and ensuring that they're on treatment, then we can also work on the final pillar, which is ensuring that they are virally suppressed. And once you are virally suppressed, it's similar to COVID, it's difficult for you to transmit the infection. and it's basically undetectable because the quantity or the number of the virus in your system is so low that it's basically undetectable. So in the immediate term, Marlene, to answer your question, we want to target the first pillar, which is ensuring that people are diagnosed, know their status, and they are properly linked to care. We have various layers of support to do so. For example, the Ministry of Health, which is one of our biggest implementing partners, they have adherence counselors, they have social workers that are responsible for guiding or assisting clients through the healthcare system. We have a new concept at the National AIDS Commission, the response through the Global Fund grant, which is the CSO hub. We have several small civil society organizations who are part of the national response. So what we did, we grouped them together and they work under a CSO hub coordinator, and Go Belize is that coordinator. So in this current Global Fund grant, funds are disbursed to Go Belize, who then subcontracts to these small CSOs for them to be able to provide outreach activities to the hard-to-reach population. So there are various levels of support, but we need to start with the first pillar, which is ensuring that people are diagnosed and know their status, and then we go from there, linking them to the necessary care.
You've been at the helm of NAC for a bit of time, and I want to ask you a very honest question. Do you think, I mean, how do you put into perspective the reluctance of the wider public to kind of face the HIV epidemic with the realities that it entails? Namely, the fact that people do engage in risky behavior. They have unprotected sex, they have multiple partners, may not use a condom each time, and that they're populations of people who, while I know people blatantly say, oh, they're homosexuals, they're actually people who are just men who have sex with men. It means they could still have sex with their wives, but they may have sex with men too. And these are all realities that make people uncomfortable when I say them out loud. How much is that a hindrance in being able to really tackle the issue?
Well, that's and it's a good thing you mentioned that, because that is a great hindrance. I mean, like I always tell people, I like to go by what our studies and our data is telling us, and simply our data is telling us that 2 of every 3 new infections occur in men who have sex with men. And like you mentioned, when we talk about MSM, men who have sex with men, it's not gay people or homosexuals that we're talking about. You have men who engage in sex with other men for transactional purposes, for whatever purposes. So indeed it's a hindrance, and what is even more of a hindrance is the whole issue of stigma and discrimination attached to it. We at the National AIDS Commission have been, based on data, started championing the Equal Opportunities Bill, which looks at protecting 19 characteristics and protecting people from discriminatory practices. And we receive a lot of backlash and a lot of opposition from various sectors of the country. So we need to be cognizant of what the data is showing us. We need to be cognizant of the fact of the realities, you know, like you mentioned, and studies have been showing this, especially young people. There was a study, I think, a couple of years ago where the sexual debut is about 14, 15 years. Some people may not want to believe that, but that's the fact, that we have children as young as 13, 14 engaging in sexual activities. So how do you ensure that these young people do not get infected, not only with HIV, but with other STIs, you know? So it's and that's why I mentioned we had a public-private partnership forum a few weeks ago, and I mentioned to them that HIV/AIDS is everybody's business. We cannot continue to have the mentality that when you hear AIDS, oh, it's AIDS Commission, or it's Ministry of Health. It's everybody's business. Parents, the private sector, the schools, the churches, the entire, all sectors of our country should be concerned about HIV and AIDS.
And, you know, having said that, we're seeing transmission as young as, 13 and 14 years old. Can you, for our viewers, paint a picture and give some more details about the demographics in terms of age, and also in terms of, areas of the countries that are, being affected by, the rate of transmission?
Great, and thanks, Gavin. And these are alarming. For the past 5, 6, 7 years, we have noticed the same trends. As a matter of fact, between 2010 and 2018, Belize experienced an increase of 7% in HIV infections in the adult population. And this was a complete opposite to what was taking place in the Caribbean region, where the Caribbean region saw decreases in new infections in the adult population, where Belize saw an increase of 7%. On an annual basis, Marlene and Gavin, and this is alarming, I've been mentioning it, that we have over 200 new infections yearly for the past 7, 8, 9 years. So imagine every year, 250, 230, 240 new infections. And on an annual basis as well, we have an average of 105 persons dying from AIDS-related causes. So those numbers reflect the true reality that people maybe fail to see or may not want to accept, you know. So those trends are not good.
Yeah, undoubtedly, you know, science has come a long way with specifically with looking at how we deal with HIV. I think you outlined it before. If you get infected, you can be treated. If you maintain your treatment, you can reach the point where your viral load, the amount of virus in your body, can become undetectable. And these are all things that you can work towards. Do you think sometimes that because people know it's treatable, that they think of it less, they think less of consequences?
I don't think so, Marlene. You know, it's for example, high blood pressure, you know, hypertension. I'm a hypertensive person. You know, when I go to the doctor, don't eat salt, don't eat this, and that. And I still do, and I know the consequences. So it's like I said earlier, you know, it's ensuring that we try the best way possible through innovative service delivery models to ensure that that knowledge is translated into behavior change, so that people can really understand the significance of and the impact of that the disease is having on our young people. And just wanted to mention also earlier, when Gavin asked about the demographics and so forth, when you look at the data, Marlene and Gavin, the age range that is most severely affected by HIV and AIDS new infections is the age range of 25 to 49. Almost 80%, over 80% of the new infections yearly is within the age range of 25 to 49, and that's when our people are in the prime of their of employment, of productivity. Yeah. You know.
And we still know that there is we've had so many conversations right here on the show, we still know that there's a great deal of stigma that people, and discrimination that people experience. I mean, you're talking about job loss, you're talking about lack of opportunities, being ostracized by their families, and these are all still things that people face in Belize. It makes your task seem even more challenging, right?
That's correct. And you mentioned just now the fact that science has come a long way, and HIV can be treated so that it does not develop into AIDS, and you can live basically longer years if you're in treatment. But we need to also, and I just want to sum this off to the general public, it's not only about the medication. There are several social determinants that can assist a person or a family or a community that is battling with this disease. As you mentioned earlier, job opportunities, you know, we have, and we have heard cases, people have called us, you know, saying that they were working, and because someone saw them taking pills and started inquiring, and they found out that the person HIV positive, they were dismissed or relieved from their job. We have heard of tenants, landlords evicting their tenants because of their sexual orientation or because they think that the person is HIV. Persons going for a loan to study or to build a house. You know, we all know that when it comes to loans, the banking sector would want to insure you in the event that, you know, something happens. And when you're insured, HIV tests is part of the overall physical and blood works, and then you're denied that opportunity. So it goes beyond, and I just need to sum this up, it goes beyond just taking a pill or 2 pills on a daily basis. It has to be comprehensive, and it has to include, it includes the social aspects as well, you know.
And what about testing? With what we saw last year, what was the rate of testing?
Well, like I said, on an annual basis, when you combined testing by the Ministry of Health, civil society, well, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we were unable to host our National Testing Day in June and World AIDS Day testing in December. But on an annual basis, an average of 40,000 tests are done countrywide. And again, coming out of those 40 tests, we have 250 new infections, and 80% of those infections are in the age range of 25 to 49. And the districts with the highest disease burden from the start of the epidemic in Belize, where we have been tracking it, has been the Belize district, followed by the Cayo district, and then the Stan Creek district. So those 3 districts have ranked at the top as the top 3 with the highest disease burden. So our activities, our Global Fund grant activities are focused in those 3 areas. In those 3 areas.
And in the the National AIDS Commission, you're a coordinating body. You work with the different agencies that do reach out maybe directly to the population or offer health services to the population. Has it been difficult to get more people tested, to reach your 3 targets, get more people tested, get more people on medication, and get people adhering to the treatment?
It has, and like I said, one of the biggest hindrances has been the whole issue of stigma and discrimination. I mean, and even when we were having our national testing days and World AIDS days, we reach out to a lot of people, but the people that we reached out to and that came for tested are not the people that we want to come and get tested. Yeah. The people that came to get tested are people that maybe positively should know that they are taking care of themselves, that they're not engaging in risky behavior, so they come for the test. So our positivity yield during these testing activities was low. And obviously the data is telling us that the new infections are higher in men who have sex with men, not in the general population. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad to say that currently there's a lot of work happening at the National AIDS Commission. I am so excited about the work because we are, in my view, we are changing direction. We are, that paradigm shift is taking place. We just completed our new National Strategic Plan for 2021 to 2025. And it's no longer only about HIVs and tuberculosis. We have included STIs, we have included viral hepatitis, so as to ensure that the services offered to the population is comprehensive and integrated. So you no longer go in just for an HIV test, you go for a full package of services. Also, we should start very soon our new funding proposal to the Global Fund. Last year we were allocated USD $3 million for the next cycle, which is from 2022 to 2024. So we're excited about that. We are using our NSP and translating the NSP into the funding proposal to ensure that we focus our intervention, we focus our investments in the areas that need critical attention. And I must say, those areas are men who have sex with men, young people, young girls, young women. Those are the target populations that we need to offer focused interventions. We're also exploring, Marlene and Gavin, new service delivery models. We can no longer continue setting up booths, the Central Park and all over the country and expect people to come and get tested, people that we want to get tested. So we're exploring innovative models such as HIV self-testing, which is already being piloted in the Caribbean region.
I was going to ask, since you mentioned the Caribbean region, just how we're doing. This issue came back on the radar a few years ago for the Caribbean, that we were not making the progress. We collectively as a region were not making the progress that should be made or that's being seen in continents like Africa, in African countries. So it's been on the radar, but how are we doing compared to the rest of the region?
Well, we continue to not to do very well as a region. Our situation is a reflection of the region itself. However, you have a couple of countries that, like I said, are looking at differentiated service delivery models. You have Bahamas, Barbados, leading the region in terms of piloting pre-exposure prophylaxis PrEP, which is a medication for a person that is HIV negative but at high risk of being infected. They're looking at models such as HIV self-testing. They have done their assessments. They're looking at piloting self-testing. They're looking at maybe training lay workers or people from the community to be able to reach those persons who would normally not come into the clinic. They are also looking at assisted partner notification, whereby if I go get tested, I am given the necessary support that I can bring my partner along with me, whether it's a female or whether it's a male, but my partner to get tested as well. So these are things that will definitely, and I can guarantee you, will definitely start to be part of it's already part of our new strategic plan and will soon be part of our new funding requests with funding from the Global Fund. No?
And can you talk a little bit more about perhaps some of the factors which also hinder people from getting tested? I know we've spoken a lot about stigma in society, but part of the presentation that you give also spoke about some other things such as domestic violence and other societal factors which contribute. So could you shed a little bit of light on those?
Sure. Like I said, the whole issue of stigma and discrimination encompasses, quite a lot of other factors. The whole issue of gender-based violence. We again collaborate closely with implementing partners in the region, the Caribbean Vulnerable Communities Coalition (CVC), the Caribbean Regional Network of People Living with HIV and AIDS (CRN+). We have collaborated with them. And we currently have 3 civil society organizations, I believe it's UNIBAM, EYBM, and PETAL, who were providing capacity development and who were trained to be able to collect data and provide information to the shared incidence-based database for the Caribbean, SID. And Belize reported 189 cases of human rights violations. It was mostly geared towards data collection on human rights violations, and many of the human rights violations had to do with breach of confidentiality, physical harassment, verbal harassment, insults. So those 3 civil society organizations, collect that data and share that data regionally. So there's a shared incidents database for the region, and it shows us the picture in every country, no? And again, you cited during this pandemic, the gross violence perpetrated against women, against girls, even against men and boys, and unfortunately, not all of these cases make it to the media for people to see what is happening, but it's a reality, that domestic violence, gender-based violence does also affect the work of the national response. So like I said earlier, I believe we're going in a new direction, our new NSP, new funding requests, and we need to ensure that all hands are on deck. No, just a couple of weeks ago, we held our public-private partnership forum because we feel that it's critical to involve the business community. The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who sits on the National AIDS Commission, have committed to being the liaising entity between the National AIDS Commission and the entire business community. And we have started with them in terms of developing an HIV and AIDS workplace policy in alignment with ILO policies and procedures, as well as involvement from the Ministry of Labor in Belize. So that's also an important step. We want businesses to be able to provide safe zones, safe spaces for people living with HIV and AIDS, and to also provide education to their staff.
Yeah,
so that the support mechanism is there.
HIV in the workplace policy, I think, a couple years back, where you kind of made the space friendly. Maybe there's a jar of condoms, some education tools around to help people make better decisions.
Right.
Let me ask another question in terms of an update. We had the issue, I think it was 2019, where there was a shortage of medication for HIV positive persons. Where are we now with that, and the quality and access for medication for people who are positive?
Right. That has been also an ongoing challenge in terms of stockouts, and we all know that it's detrimental, when we have stockouts and a client goes for the medications and they're told that they're none and they need to come back, or they're given something else. That's an area also that, in close collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, we have addressed. The Ministry of Health has is now back in discussions with PAHO in terms of being part of the PAHO Strategic Fund and the pooled procurement facility that PAHO has, whereby we no longer need to purchase directly from countries like India, where it takes forever for the medication to get to Belize. We're trying to do it now through the PAHO Strategic Fund, where PAHO purchases in bulk for many countries, and Belize is one of the countries that benefits, and we benefit from buying in large quantities. So the prices through the PAHO Strategic Fund are also much more reasonable, no? So that's a change that we have been making as well, because we're cognizant that there have been stockouts over the years. But like I said, we have been purchasing, the Ministry of Health has been purchasing directly through companies from India. And again, with the pandemic, it was difficult to get the medications to Belize. So that has been quite a challenge. And we hope that working closely with PAHO through their policies and their structures, then that can be averted, no?
So for people who are watching who have now been convinced perhaps to go out and get tested, where are the services available and what's the cost? Okay.
The HIV testing services, as a matter of fact, we I think it was a couple of years ago, we developed in collaboration with LXJ, I believe, we developed an HIV services app, which is available on Android and Apple devices. And once you're trying to find a testing service, you go to the app and it locates the nearest testing service for you. And I believe a map pops out that gives you direction to get from where you currently are to the nearest testing site. But testing is done at the Ministry of Health medical facilities. It's also done at BFLA. I believe at the medical facilities from the Ministry of Health, it's free of cost. I believe BFLA, there's a small fee that is charged. We also have, Marlene, like I mentioned earlier, the Civil Society Hub. So the Civil Society, they also conduct HIV testing free of cost. And what is even more important is that our civil society partners are not only waiting for people to come and get tested, but they are going to the populations that we believe need to get tested. So it's a provider-initiated testing and counseling rather than voluntary where people come in. So that's another area that we're trying to improve rather than wait for people to come. Through our civil society, we're going to the populations that want to be tested. The MSM, sex workers, young people, transgender persons, and other persons who are most at risk, including prisoners as well, who are considered as vulnerable groups as well. No?
All right. Well, Enrique, thank you for providing the update for us today. Of course, we know this is a very important topic to have year-round. We can get control of the situation and reduce the number of new infections, but it does take continued education and effort. So thank you.
You're welcome. And again, thanks for the opportunity to be able to provide this information to our public. No?
All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up. So
This COVID update was brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
Abigail.
Yes, Gran?
Abigail, I can't breathe well.
Granny, we need to go to the hospital to get you checked out.
No! I'm fine.
Yes, Gran, we need to go now to get you treated. Now, before it's too late.
No, 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 no.
Grandma, we need to go for all of us.
No, no, no.
Stop. If you are having flu-like symptoms, please call us immediately for medical guidance. If you have chronic conditions such as diabetes and you're experiencing symptoms such as shortness of breath or chest pain, please also seek medical attention immediately. We've lost a lot of people this year. We don't want to lose you too. Please seek help if necessary. Call us at 0800-664-2273. Continue to wear your mask at all times. Keep physical distance when in public and stay at home unless absolutely necessary. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
And we're back.
And if you're joining us now, we're just getting our show wrapped up after a bunch of great conversations this morning. Of course, we kicked it off with our Meet the Mayoral candidates, and we heard from the candidates from the 2 major political parties for the upcoming elections. This morning we were out west and interviewed candidates for the twin towns of San Ignacio and Santa Elena. So we want to thank the current mayor, Earl Trapp, as well as the People's United Party's candidate, Ramon Quiroz, for coming in this morning, telling us about themselves and also about their plans for the twin towns.
All right. And then we want to thank the National AIDS Commission. Of course, we had that segment there talking about the HIV response during the pandemic. Very critical information. We always need to be reminded that, one, we need to know our status, and if you are positive, that you seek treatment and follow up with your treatment. We know that HIV is still an issue for us in Belize and this region, and we all have to do our part to make the situation better.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, we will be bringing you on Thursday another Meet the Mayoral Candidate segment. We'll be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday up until the municipal elections, which are very quickly approaching.
Yeah.
You know, we are in election season once again, so it's a pretty exciting time. But of course, we give the opportunity of giving you a chance to listen to the candidates and get a bit of their personal story as well.
But that's all the time we have for today. Remember, if you'd like to contact us, send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ.
And on Instagram at OIEBelize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.